Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all the Sagittariuses out there. If you're a Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of April of 2025. And in case any of you are interested, I will be using my Spirit Song Tarot deck. I love it so much. I hope you guys do too. So, with all of that said, let's see what Sag has in store for April. Okay, Sag. The first three cards all fell out together, but the first card I saw was the one that came out after the first three cards came out because the first three were upside down. This one fell out right side up. So that first one is the Seven of Wands upright with the honey badger there. And then we have the Devil reverse, the Jackal, the King of Cups, the Seahorse, which seahorses are very like, they have Sagittarius energy to me. Don't ask me why, they just do. Page of Feathers, Raccoon, also Sagittarius energy. Again, don't ask me why. Although that one's a little more self-explanatory. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune reverse with the octopus or squid. One, two, three, four. No, octopus. The Magician reversed with the crow. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess reverse. And underneath the High Priestess, we have Justice upright and the King of Wands. Or, sorry, the King of Swords upright. So two kings making themselves known. The King of Swords is a little bit more, that energy is a bit more not as at the forefront as the King of Cups, but it's still something that is available to you. You just might not like realize it yet. And you know what? I think this wants to be said to. Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy. You know what? I'll do the reading, and if those want to make themselves known, they will. What's really fascinating is until Justice came out, all of the major arcana cards in this spread were reversed, which tells me two things. The first cards that came out, the Seven of Wands, the King of Cups, and the Page of Swords, these are all very powerful cards for knowing your power, integrating your power, and moving with that power, and showing strength and determination to get to where you want to go, utilizing that power. And the Devil reverse tells me that you're moving away from these unconscious habits or vices that may have prevented you from moving forward in the past. So as you tap into your power, you're actually overcoming those things that held you back previously. You're pushing through those boundaries you previously thought were what was holding you back, when in actuality it was just your unconscious habits that were holding you back. But you're getting a rein on them again. You're not letting them control you anymore. And as you continue to shed these layers that caused you to lean into these unconscious vices and habits, you are like clearing your mind. You're being open to messages from yourself more than anything. But it's like this open and expansive mindset that's helping you push forward, tap into your own emotional maturity, your own emotional authority, and the sense of empathy for yourself, but also like a dignified energy. So it's also possible that there was a situation in your past that involved another person, maybe a masculine type of energy. It doesn't have to be a man, but somebody who is like in their masculine energy, in their masculine power. There could have been like a 433 on the clock as I say that. There could have been like a jostling of sorts, for lack of a better term, because Sagittarius, you are also Sagittarius is a masculine sign, and this is like you're a sign that likes to do. You don't like to really think about doing. You don't like to wallow in your emotions. You just do. You experience. You learn through experience and you grow through experience. So there could have been another masculine type of energy from another person that was in your life previously. And again, you guys just butt heads. And it's not like you didn't enjoy each other's company. I'm not getting that from that, but it's almost like you brought the worst out of each other. And whether this person left your life and just like, or you don't see them as often anymore, so it's not so much quarreling or not so much like trying to battle to be the alpha male type of energy. You're able to now put the energy you are putting into trying to up level the other person into yourself. And I think that was part of what this devil reverse represents. It's your desire to be on top. Even if you don't think you do, you have this very domineering energy that wants to be, the funniest person in the room, or period. That wants to be the funniest person or the most interesting person in the room. And as I say interesting, it's fascinating that this phrase is coming to mind. you used to want to be the most interesting person in the room, but by redirecting your energy and your attention back to yourself to recognize these vices that were holding you back, you are now more focused on being the most interested person in the room, which is what you want to do to, because that's what's conducive to growth. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. You never want to be the richest person in the room. You never want to be the funniest person in the room, because when you are not at the top of that totem pole, there's only growth to be experienced. And that Sagittarius, you guys are all about growth and expansion and learning. So you shifted your mindset from wanting to be the most interesting to being the most interested. And that's actually helping you come more into yourself. Um, and come more into, again, that masculine energy, that masculine power, especially because having a second king come out underneath justice. And it's interesting that I positioned justice the way I did. I put justice directly under the devil reversed. Oh, and justice is also, so that's a crow or a raven. So I think the magician's a raven. This one might be a crow. I can't really tell. I'll show you the picture because it looks like a blackbird, maybe a grackle. Love grackles. They're the ones that, like, they're much smaller than crows and they have like an iridescent feather. So when you look at them in the right light, they're like this shiny, glittering purple color. It's gorgeous. Um, but going back, the way I position justice underneath the devil reverse, it's almost like you are balancing out your own karma by coming to terms with these unconscious vices and habits of trying to, like, be the not be the better person, but like be the person that is better than everybody. You're actually balancing your own karmic destiny by doing that. And in doing that, it's like your masculine energy is actually heightening because it's not so in your face. It's a more subtle energy, which is interesting because that's more of a feminine energy is when it's subtle. But and I hate using the term alpha male. It gives me the ick, but this is the best way to describe it. It's like a true alpha male never has to say they're the alpha male, right? It's just an energy they carry, it's an energy they embody. And they're not worried about like trying to prove anything because there's nothing to prove. They're just like, it is what it is. I am who I am. I am what I am. And that's the energy you're moving from, or you're moving into from this more like loud in your face energy. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you're like losing your personality, because if there's one thing Sagittariuses are, it's personality. It truly is personality. I adore Sagittariuses. Some of my favorite people in the world are Sagittariuses. But it's you're moving away from this need to prove because you're recognizing there is nothing you need to do to prove yourself. And maybe it's because this other like domineering force was removed from your life in some way, whether it's, if it was somebody at your job and they got a new position somewhere else, or they switched departments, or if it's somebody that was in your yoga class, I don't know, and they moved away. Whatever it is, this energy has been removed in some way. And so you were able to redirect it to yourself and recognize, like, oh, I was so worried about this jamoke over here, like trying to prove myself to them. Ew. Oh, and I'm being called just to say really quick, when I say masculine energy, it's not, again, it's not like male and female. It's when we speak on masculine energy, it's an action energy. It's going forth and doing and getting things done. Versus feminine is a receptive energy where they don't have to go out and seek out and do and do and do. Feminine energy is a receptive energy that allows things to come to it. So they just keep themselves open, and it's like a vacuum where masculine is pushing the energy outwards. So that's what I mean when I say masculine, just to clear up the air. It wanted to be said there. Yeah, as you move towards this and shed those layers of feeling like you need to prove yourself, you're gaining mental clarity. You're gaining this sense of emotional understanding that I don't think you've tapped into much before. And as you shed those layers as well, it's amplified because we have the Page of Swords and the King of Swords. I slept wrong yesterday and my neck hurts a little bit, and I just did like the subtlest movement. It was like so I wonder what that has to do, if that has anything to do with the reading. I don't know. It's just being open to discovery. Being open to discovery and allowing yourself to move forward. And it's interesting that justice is also the Libra card, which is also air, which is also masculine. So there's a lot of emphasis on your mindset here and your ability to keep your mind open, not only to not only to sorry, my cat's made a noise out there. I'm starting to get distracted now. Not only to distractions, not letting yourself be distracted by things around you, but keeping your mindset open to, so that's what I was going to say initially. Not only what you can learn from others, but just keeping it open in general so you're able to pinpoint opportunities that may come to you in the future that wouldn't have come to you previously if you were so focused on trying to prove yourself. Now you're living your truth now. And I think that's beautiful. But moving on to the last three cards that fell out, all of the major arcana cards that are reversed. We had the Wheel of Fortune, the Magician, and the High Priestess. So there is, although I think because you're so tapped into the masculine right now, that's why these are all coming out reversed. It can point to a disconnect from your internal world, especially with the Magician and the High Priestess reverse. It's like you're not focusing on the magic and the power and especially the willpower that you have to create your reality. And you might be feeling like a sense of stagnancy with the Wheel of Fortune reverse because the Wheel of Fortune is all about change. It's about up leveling, or because fortune can favor you or not favor you. So it could be the lack of up leveling, but in any case, when it's reversed, it's like there's this feeling of stagnancy. So it's very interesting. You might be leaning into this embodiment of the masculine energy rather than having to prove the masculine energy because you had been feeling this stagnancy and this disconnect from your own willpower and your ability to create the life around you. Um, I'll get to the High Priestess in a second. And that, like those feelings that were causing this sense of stagnancy are what made you say, you know what? Trying to prove myself hasn't gotten me anywhere. Trying to prove myself has not uprooted this sense of stagnancy. If anything, it's just made me feel more stagnant and more disconnected from my ability to create the life around me. So I'm going to try the opposite. I'm going to try to embody this. And I think the embodiment came like as a result of the stagnancy. It's important though that you have patience. It's really important that you have patience because you are embodying this very regal energy. We have two kings that fell out and a page. Um and justice. You're embodying this, like, again, regal is the best word for it. Like you are sitting on the throne that is your identity, that is who you are. You're sitting on that throne with such a dignity right now that again, you don't have to prove anything because you are in your power. So when somebody is in their power, but they feel they don't have access to the power of creation, there's a reason for that. And I think the reason is you have to know what embodiment is for a longer period of time. Not only do you have to embody it, you have to integrate the embodiment. So it's not just something you're doing like today and then tomorrow you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I gotta go tell Johnny that he sucks, whatever it may be. Like you're not jumping right back to those habits of it's like having to prove yourself because you don't have anything to prove. And I think once you learn to integrate the embodiment, that's when you'll start to see the changes and possibilities and opportunities opening up for you. That's when you'll start to pick up that magic wand as the magician and utilize your resources to create the changes that you would like to see in your life. But right now, this is more of like I am going to be completely engulfed in the physical. I'm going to use my mind and emotions to my advantage in ways that I haven't before in order to do the things I need to do on the physical plane. Like we're not even focusing on the unconscious or the spiritual plane whatsoever. Like we're focusing on the physical plane. And it might be because April starts with Aries season 2. So there's a very fiery energy that's connecting you to your own fire. At some point the sun will be trine whatever placements you have in Sagittarius, which is a very harmonious energy. Um, Stability. Like when it comes to trines, triangles are the strongest shape. So you have stability, you have harmony, you have like forward progress, forward movement. And that forward movement, again, is focused in the physical for now. So just even if it's still, even if there's not much going on in terms of changes and of opportunity around you, just trust that you're on the right path and lean into how you're feeling. And anything that pulls you off of your throne of dignity and of respect and of honor and of being interested rather than interesting, just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind that there's a gnat in my face. These triggers that That's what those triggers are, is a little gnat just flying around your face. Like they can't cause you any harm. There's no biting. It's just an annoyance. That's what those triggers are around you. And it's almost like these triggers are coming up to make sure that you remain focused, integrated, and embodied in your masculine energy, in that energy of I have nothing to prove. And then maybe eventually you'll start to tap into this higher knowledge that the high priestess represents upright. But reversed again, it's like you're being kept from this knowledge for a reason though, because you're not supposed to be going out and seeking this deeper knowledge, because right now you're learning, like you're gaining knowledge of the self. You're gaining knowledge of the self, which is interesting because again, Sagittariuses are usually the sign that goes out into the world to learn what they need to learn. They learn about themselves through experience, which I think you're still doing a little bit of, but it's through this sense of integration that you're learning about yourself more than anything. My cat just threw up. I'm gonna go clean it up. And in true cat fashion, he decided to throw up on the blanket I literally just washed 2 days ago because he threw up on it twice last week. And then as I'm cleaning it up, he looks at it in disgust, as if he could have just jumped down and throw up on the tile. Anyway, I applaud his timing because I was about to shuffle again. So, here we go. Another king, the King of Wands. So, three kings, Sagittarius: the King of Wands, the King of Cups, the King of Swords. And not only that, the King of Wands fell out with the Fool upright. So, going back to that gnat metaphor, it's almost like you might be experiencing more nuisances, for lack of a better term, in your life. You might be experiencing more nuisances that are just going to be flying around in your face and trying to like egg you on or goad you into reaction, right? And your test is to have this sense of like higher authority, this sense of optimism, and the sense of knowing that like you are worth more than whatever they are trying to goad out of you. Um, and I like that it's a stallion. Talk about Sagittarius energy with that centaur. But your energy is more than any reaction they're going to try to get out of you. So if you tap into these three kings, this very kingly energy, and it's a kingly energy that connects to your wands, is your intuition and your spirit and your drive and your passion. Cups is your emotional body. It's your sense of feeling. It's feeling into your actual body and expressing your emotions in a healthy way, but not only that, having empathy for the emotions of others too. And then swords, which is all about the mind. It's logic. It's just swords. The King of Swords is justice in itself. It's justice in itself. And then you had justice come out as well. So these three kings and justice, you have the three kings and you have like the judge. The three kings and the judge. The page of swords, which is like the squire that's in training to work with the king, and then the fool. So it's almost like all of these little things that will come up to try to trigger you, the more you can stand in your power and exert your subtle power over these things that want to control you and want to provoke you and want to bring out, the sides of you that you've grown out of. The more you're able to stand in your power through that and not give them the reactions and just treat it like the gnat that it is, still show it respect, still show it the empathy that you can tap into now because they're just at a lower point in their journey that they think they have to provoke somebody else in order to feel something themselves. You're past that. You've gone past that. You are in your own power, and because you're in your own power, you see the potential of power of others. Not only that, you see where they are not utilizing their power to their advantage. The more you're able to stand in your power and not be provoked, the more you will open the doors to this new beginning, this new opportunity. That's going to initiate that sense of change. And I always say, when we have cards reversed in a spread, that doesn't mean the upright meaning is not available to them. It's just around some obstacles that you have to move through in order to get there. So, you standing in your regality with all three of these kings will put you on this path of new beginnings, which will help you tap in to the sense of willpower that you have to create the reality that you want using only the resources you have in front of you, being thrifty. It will promote this new beginning will promote new opportunities and possibility for growth and change and expansion to come into you. And then unconsciously, you start to make those changes that allow you to tap in to the subtle sacred knowledge that exists beyond our plane. And all you have to do in order to get there to these upright, this is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. We have the 0, the 1, the 2, the 10, and the 11. And what's interesting, if you think numerologically, with numerology, the 10 is the 1, because you take away the 0. The 11 is the 2, because you add them together. So there's very potent mirroring energy. Like, you have this energy within you to promote change and really tap into your power. Really, really tap into your divine power, which is going to accelerate you moving forward. And then once you tap into all this, I don't know what happens next. That'll be next month's reading, so come back. But like 3 kings and all of these major arcana cards, Sagittarius, that's epic. Like, in the most like pure sense of that word. That's epic. And all you have to do is trust that you don't have anything to prove. Be the most interested person, not the most interesting person. That's where it all starts. That's the catalyst, is when you have that realization. And then it's just upward from there, sitting on your throne. I'm excited for you guys. But with all of that said, this was a general reading, so it's possible not everything resonated. If that is the case, you can check out my website linked in the description below, and there you can book with me for personal tarot readings, astrology readings, human design, and numerology readings as well. So take a look there if you are interested. If you did like this reading at all, leave me a like and leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. And of course, I do this every single month for all of the signs. So if you're interested in getting your forecast for the month ahead according to the tarot cards, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, Sagittarius. I would love to have you guys here in the future. I adore your energy. I adore you guys. And I'm really excited to see how this plays out, especially with the Sagittariuses in my life. Especially with the Sagittariuses in my life. And Aries season is only the beginning, quite literally. It's the astrological new year. We're still in eclipse season right now, but once those eclipses pass, geez Louise, which the last one is, I believe, March 30th or the 31st. I have to double check my calendar. Or maybe it's the 29th. It's sometime that weekend. I think it is the 29th. But once those eclipses pass, we still have Venus and Mercury retrograde for another week or so after that. But then you're really tapping into your energy. And again, it's tapping into the sense of regality, even through all of the astrological changes that are happening in the sky, all of the changes that are happening in your life, or lack of changes. It's trusting. It's trusting in your own power, in your own authority, and your ability to create the change you want to see. But sometimes to create that change, we need to be still and just accept where we are. And that's this energy. Quiet power. I love you guys.